Hey guys, I'm on for Potterspot and welcome to week 12 of the 2018-2019 Premier League review. Everyone in the series, what we do is we take a look at the past set Premier results, we take a look at the Premier table, and we finish off by looking at the top goal scorers. So here are the past set of Premier results. These games were played on Saturday the 10th and Sunday the 11th of November 2018. Also next to the games are the times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific match, just go to the time next to the game and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with the Manchester derby as Manchester City faced Manchester United. In this Manchester derby, it was the blue side of Manchester who opened the scoring 10 minutes into the match as David Silva put the reigning champs ahead. It had been coming as City were all over United. Up to this point, I don't think United actually came close to City's box, or never mind their own half, to be honest. They were boxed in. Raheem Sterling superbly picked out Bernardo Silva at the back post. It looked like it was going out, but Silva does well to play it back across goal, probably for Aguero, who goes down in the box. I'm not sure whether the ref would have given a penalty or not, because before he has the chance to, David Silva picked up the loose ball and last he shot into the roof of the net. And City doubled their lead just minutes into the second half as a silver-haired Sergio Aguero got his 8th goal in the derby. United lose the ball on the halfway line and Aguero is away. He lays it off to Raheem Sterling. Lindelof doesn't stay with Aguero and then Sterling just slips it back to him and the Argentinian rifles a shot through David De Gea at his near post. But United will get the perfect chance to get back into the game as they were given a penalty in the 56th minute. Ederson yet again being rash off his line. He did it against Southampton and he's done it again here as Romelu Lukaku just came on the pitch and he was immediately involved as he ran onto a ball. Ederson ran out, gets none of the ball, gets all of Lukaku and the ref pointed to the spot. Anthony Martial stepped up to take it and he sent Ederson the wrong way and slotted it into the right hand side. But Man City wrapped the game up in the 85th minute as Ilkay Gundogan restored City's 2-goal lead. What a team goal. There was 44 passes in the build up to this goal. 44. United couldn't get close to them. But with the final few passes, it was Gundogan who laid it off to Raheem Sterling. Sterling is forced out wide and has to lay it back off to Bernardo Silva. Gundogan is still in the box, points where he wants it, and Bernardo Silva duly obliges. The ball is played over the top, Gundogan is on the 6-yard box, the United defence just switch off, and the German has time to take a touch and slot it home. And that's how the game ended, and although the scoreline suggested a relatively close game, it just really wasn't. City were all over United in this and were the better side for about 75 minutes of the game. United only had like one shot on target, which was the penalty, and you've got to ask yourself, is that good enough for Manchester United? And it's just not, is it? United barely got in City's half, never mind their box, and after City opened the scoring, the result was really never in doubt as City have the derby honours this time. And we move on to Cardiff versus Brighton. Brighton took the lead just 5 minutes into the match as Lewis Dunk put the Seagulls in front. A simple goal for the visitors really, and the Cardiff boss will be furious that they let this one in as a free kick was punted into the middle by Solly March. Lewis Dunk is left completely unmarked at the back post and he nodded it in. No idea who was supposed to be marking him, but if there's one player you don't want to leave unmarked, it's a big centre-back who was shown to be quite good at headers. It's just simple, really. But Cardiff would level it up on the half-hour mark through Callum Patterson. Kadeem Harris does well on the right-hand side as he makes his way into the box. His cross is deflected, but it went right under the head of Patterson. He's on the edge of the 6-yard box. He's not going to miss from there as he nodded in for his 3rd goal in 4 games. And things would get worse for Brighton as they were reduced to 10 men just 4 minutes later as Dale Stephens was shown a straight red. The ball was bouncing around, Dale Stephens comes in, his touch was heavy and he's desperate to win the ball back as he lunges in on Greg Cunningham, studs up near the shin and the ref had no doubt as he gave him his marching orders. Bit of a... it can be debated, this one. There isn't a... oh yes, that was definitely a red. There's some people will give it, some people won't. I wouldn't. He didn't really touch him. And Cardiff won the game in the 90th minute as Sol Bamba put the Bluebirds ahead. What a crazy goal this was. A long throw into the middle. Cardiff constantly just putting it back in, back in. Brighton just can't get away. Sol Bamba goes for a bicycle kick, hits the post. That creates a goal mouth scramble. Callum Patterson gets on the rebound, but that was deflected onto the crossbar and it eventually falls back to Sol Bamba, who smashes one home. And that's how the game ended. Brighton gave it everything they had and defended for their lives, but in the end they just couldn't hold on for the point. Cardiff had a man advantage for an hour in this game, but they couldn't find a way through a resilient Brighton defence, and when they did, it looked offside. Brighton will feel hard done by as I feel the ref had a shocker in this game. Constant poor decisions and they were always for Cardiff. A debatable red card, Sol Bamba being offside for the goal and then not even booking Sol Bamba for taking his shirt off in the celebrations. He might be a Cardiff fan, who actually knows at this point. And with the ref shocker and So Bamba's late goal, that gave Cardiff their second win of the season. And we move on to Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Newcastle took the lead 7 minutes into the match when Solomon Rondon got his first league goal for the Magpies. DeAndre Yedlin does well to race behind the Bournemouth defence, and he spots Rondon in the penalty area and he squares it to him. Rondon's first shot is well saved by Begovic, but the rebound falls straight back to him and he makes no mistake of the rebound as he blasted it home. And Newcastle doubled their lead in the 40th minute as Solomon Rondon got his and Newcastle's second of the game. He actually started the move, collecting the ball in a deep position, and he raced into the penalty area whilst Kennedy swung in an inviting ball, and their rising highest was Rondon, who absolutely thumped one past Begovic into the Bournemouth net. Because of an injury to Adam Smith in the first half, there was a lot of added time at the end of the first 45, and Bournemouth took advantage of that as they reduced the deficit to 1 in the 5th minute of added time. A free kick was whipped into the middle by Ryan Fraser. Steve Cook's header is put behind for a corner. The corner was swung in. Jefferson Lerma got free, swooped in low, and headed back across goal into the side net. And that's how the game ended, with Newcastle picking up back-to-back wins for the first time since April. Bournemouth goalkeeper Asmir Begovic made some fine saves to keep his side in the match, whilst Jordan had missed a great chance to level it up, but Bournemouth fell to back-to-back defeats. After recording their worst start to a top-flight season for 120 years, the win last week seemed to lift a weight off the shoulders as they were really energetic against Bournemouth here. They were without 3 of their starting 11, but it didn't seem to bother them that much as they dug in to secure a vital 3 points in their battle to climb up the table. And we move on to Liverpool versus Fulham. It took Liverpool until the 40th minute to take the lead, and who else would it be as the man who loves scoring at Anfield does it again as Mo Salah gave Liverpool the lead. It's a blistering counter-attack as 1 second Fulham have the ball in the net, but it was ruled out for offside, and then 14 seconds later, Salah scoring up the other end. Alisson played the free kick straight up to Salah, and Fulham were extremely high up the pitch, and Salah's basically one-on-one as soon as Alisson kicks it. He makes his way towards goal, side footy shot past Sergio Rico and into the back of the net. And Liverpool doubled their lead 10 minutes at the second half as Xherdan Shaqiri got his second of the season. A lovely ball was lifted into the middle by Andy Robertson, and there on the 6-yard line, completely unmarked and not a Fulham soul around him, was Xherdan Shaqiri, who side-footed his volley back across goal and into the bottom corner. And the game ended complete dominance in the end for Liverpool as they were in cruise control for most of the second half. Up until Liverpool's first goal, however, Fulham had some good chances as Ryan Sessegnon and Alexander Mitrovic both wasted good opportunities, but once ahead, Liverpool never looked like relinquishing their advantage as they sent Fulham to a 6th league defeat in a row. And we move on to Arsenal versus Wolves. Wolves took the lead in the 13th minute as Ivan Carriero punished some sloppy Arsenal play. A horrible mistake from Granit Xhaka as he gave the ball away to Carriero inside the Arsenal half, but there's still plenty for him to do, though he passes out wide to Raul Jimenez, who gives it back and leaves Carriero with a simple tap-in. But Arsenal levelled it up 5 minutes from time as Henrik Mkhitaryan equalised for the Gunners. No way he meant this one. Ball is played back to him on the corner of the box. He swung a cross in, but not one person gets on the end of it, and it goes all the way into the bottom right corner. And that's how the game ended. What the hell happened to Arsenal in this game? They were shocking. This would have definitely been Wolves' biggest win since returning to the top flight, and Arsenal would have had themselves to blame as they were extremely wasteful in front of goal. Aubameyang missed a sitter, like genuinely a sitter. He somehow hit the post. Lucas Torreira and Hector Bellerin both had chances, but they wasted them too. Wolves almost snatched the win back as Morgan Gibbs-White hit the bar in injury time, and at any other time, you'd normally say that Arsenal will be more frustrated with the draw, but in this case, they're going to be relieved at a point, and it'll be Wolves who will feel that they should have got the win. And we move on to Southampton versus Watford. Southampton took the lead on the 20-minute mark as Manolo Gabbiadini got his first goal since May. Really poor mistake from Roberto Pereira as he gave the ball away inside his own box. Good pressure from Danny Ings though, and his tackle turned into a pass for Gabbiadini as the Italian made sure to get himself back on side and swept it home from about 8 yards out. But Watford levelled it up in the 82nd minute as Jose Holebas got the equaliser. Some more poor defending in this game, and Southampton look to clear their lines, but every clearance is being blocked left, right and centre. It eventually drops to Jose Holebas on the edge of the box, who lasses a shot that took a deflection and that took it away from the keeper and into the back of the net. And the game ended, game ruined by some poor officiating as both teams were robbed of game-changing moments. Watford should have had a penalty when it was 1-0 as Chalobah was clearly hacked down by Ryan Bertrand, who was on a yellow card at the time as well. And then Southampton had a perfectly good goal ruined out for no reason. It was given as against Mai Yoshida, who yes was standing in an offside position as the shot came in, but he wasn't blocking the keeper's vision and he was a good few yards away from the ball. But take the refs out of this and Southampton still struggle to score at home, as they have not won in their first 6 home games of a season for the first time ever. They've drew 4 of them and lost 2, but they have this inability to convert promising chances that would have secured the win. Southampton remain just above the drop zone, while Mark Hughes remains under a ton of pressure to secure Southampton's top flight future. And we move on to Huddersfield versus West Ham. Huddersfield got the first goal of the 3 o'clock kickoffs as Alex Pritchard put the horse ahead. Poor from West Ham really, as they gave the ball away deep inside their own half. Alex Pritchard comes deep to collect before laying it off to Jonathan Hogg, who gives it back to Pritchard. He takes it to the edge of the box and he does scuff his shot, but it crept into the bottom corner out of the reach of Lucas Fabianski. But West Ham levelled it up in the 73rd minute through Felipe Anderson. He started the move and he finished it as well, as he darted past 2 players on the left hand side before laying it off to Robert Snodgrass. He just about kept it in, and his cross finds Marko Arnautovic. He completely mishits it, but that dropped to Javier Hernandez. His shot was blocked. That fell to Mikel Antonio. His shot was blocked as well, but then it fell to Felipe Anderson, and the Brazilian hit it high, back across goal into the top right corner. And as the game ended, Huddersfield were clearly still bouncing after their first win of the season on Monday, as they started the livelier of the 2 sides, hitting the woodwork twice and Pritchard putting them ahead. Huddersfield may have been denied their first back-to-back win since February, but 4 points in a week has literally doubled their tally of 2 weeks ago. West Ham were the better side in the second half though, but they were really inconsistent in how they were playing. At times they were passing it around nicely, playing some good football, but then at times they just lost the ball and be punished for it, which is exactly what happened for Huddersfield's first. Why did I say first? They only scored 1. There are positives for both sides, especially Huddersfield, who were really pushing for a win in the final few minutes, but they couldn't find it as it ended all square. And we move on to Crystal Palace versus Tottenham. We had to wait until the 66th minute to get something to talk about in this game, and it was a goal for Tottenham as Juan Foyth got his first ever senior goal. After a horror debut last week giving away 2 penalties at Wolves, this will give him a boost as Eric Lamela swung a corner in. The initial header from Harry Kane was saved, but it looped up into the air, and reacting quickest and pouncing on it was Juan Foyth, who headed home as the Palace defence stood still. And that is how the game ended. Palace will yet again be kicking themselves at missed chances. James Tompkins failed to hit the target when he was completely unmarked, and that surely would have changed the game, but Juan Foyth again didn't look the strongest of characters, as he gave away a needless corner in the early stages and gave the ball away constantly, but he did grow into the game, playing with more calmness around him and in the end scoring the winner. Palace pushed for a leveller late on, but Spurs' World Cup winning captain Hugo Lloris did well to deny Schlupp, Townsend and Soloth late on as the visitors held on to the win. And we move on to Chelsea versus Everton. Ended 0-0 at the Bridge. Fantastic result for Everton, but a really disappointing one for Chelsea, who could have gone top for a few hours, but instead gave some room for City and Liverpool to possibly get away. Both teams had good chances. Gylfi Sigurdsson was denied by a smart save from Kepa, but Alvaro Morata had an awful game for me. Constantly offside, constantly complaining about being offside despite clearly being offside. The best chances fell to Chelsea as Marcus Alonso saw a volley saved by Pickford and also saw an effort hit the post in what will be a frustrating result for Chelsea as it ended goalless. And finally, we've got Leicester versus Burnley. In Leicester's first home game since the tragic events of 2 weeks ago, it was a very tight affair. Leicester started brightly, but were clearly drained and faded into the match. Burnley grew into it and will be satisfied with a point, but I think for once, the football came second in this game, and it was more about the Leicester family being fully together at the King Power. Right, so that's all the games I've got for this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with top 5, and as you can see, Manchester City are still on top after a successful outing in the Manchester Derby. Liverpool are second after beating Fulham. Chelsea are third after being held against Everton. Tottenham are now fourth after beating Crystal Palace, and Arsenal make up the top 5 after rescuing a point against Wolves. Moving on to the bottom 5, and Fulham are on the bottom after losing to Liverpool. Huddersfield are 19th after picking up a point against West Ham. Cardiff make up the relegation zone after beating Brighton. Southampton are 17th after drawing with Watford, and Crystal Palace make up the bottom 5 after being beat by Tottenham. Moving on to the top goal scorers, and as you can see, Sergio Aguero is now on the top after his goal against Man United took him to 8 goals and 4 assists. Eden Hazard was pretty quiet against Everton. He stayed on 7 goals and 4 assists. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang should have scored against Wolves, but he was wasteful as a balls, and he stayed on 7 goals and 1 assist. Raheem Sterling is 4th on 6 goals and 5 assists, and Callum Wilson make up the top 5 on 6 goals and 4 assists. Right, so that's all we've got for this week. If you did drop a shot, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back in 2 weeks on the 27th of November for the next episode of the Premier League review. Yeah, no episode next week because of those damn international breaks, so I'll be back in 2 weeks when the Premier League returns. To stay up to date with us, it would be best to follow us on Twitter. The link is is in the description, or it's at portionofsport_. If you missed last week's episode, that'll be popping on your screen now, along with a link to the channel so you can subscribe. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I will see you soon.